Hello everyone, hi. And just like that, my head starts hurting. Cool. Awesome. Epic. Let's get into this. So I just want to clarify that my grandmother is very much alive. I literally just saw her yesterday. Because I was like thinking about that dream I had last night. And I'm like, how y'all gonna use my grandmother to yell at me in my dreams? Hello? That was cruel, but effective. I guess. So I'm using. It's been on my mind lately, so I figured I might as well attempt to do it, but I am gonna cheat. I think I said that yesterday. Maybe I said that yesterday. I was gonna cheat something else. I'm just cheating all over the place lately, I guess. I want to do that salamander spread, but it isn't built. So I'm going to use the Spencers to put down like the foundational type of energy. And that's how I did all the build with me spreads. I used the Spencers to lay it out. And that's why like the Manticore spread is the Manticore spread. And that's why the angel spread is the angel spread, because for the first card I use the person depicted, I guess, or the energy depicted as the title. And so the salamander spread is based, ooh, 10 of Cups and Judgment. I love that energy. Judgment comes out in this deck a lot. We see that rat staring at the moon a lot, or the sun, whatever that is. And it's the year of the rat, 2020. Judgment is number 20. Oh, there's that Six of Wands again. I'm all over the place today, aren't I? I'm going to use the cards. I'm going to lay them down under. I'm going to lay those down in formation. I just wanted to give these a few shuffles. And I only have one layer, and this was the only one that came out multi-layered. And I was just like, I ain't got time to get out of this. So I'm hoping that like I like this, but I don't like love it, because I'm not writing down what these mean. I'm just gonna do it live. But I mean, honestly, it'll be whatever it's supposed to be. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. All right. So only got one of these layers numbered. Should I do the bottom layer first? Yeah, we'll do the bottom layer first. Okay. And the bottom layer is the one that I don't know how I'm going to lay them out. But I'm not too stressed. I'm going to take this thing off my head really quick. There we go. I'm wearing my scarf today because it's cold in my room. I got this part hanging out because it's fairly long, and I can like weave this into the other side to close it up if I want it like an infinity scarf. Like I said, I'm all over the place today. Ooh, who's this? Left on the table is the Empress. Was she in reverse? With the 9 of Wands behind her. Pumpkinhead. Oh, the Empress with Pumpkinhead, and the Empress is holding a head in this. Interesting. Pumpkin carver. Oh gosh. Ooh, 9 of Cups. 9 of Cups, 4 of Pentacles, and the 5 of Pentacles. The 4 and the 5. Yesterday, the 5 and the 6 of Pentacles came out in this deck. Been getting lots of sequential numbers lately. But anyway, let's get into this. Let's dive right in, shall we? So the first layer, the bottom layer will come from the top, and the top layer will come from the bottom. Oh, I hope I remember. Well, it is what it is. I need more space. All right. Ooh, the Magician, the Warlock. Bottom of the deck. This is going to be interesting. I did not think this through. Because I have cards on top of cards. Well, I'll lay it out the same way. I'll lay it out the same way. Ooh, Two of Cups is at the bottom of the deck over here. The Magician and the Two of Cups. I'm a fan. Cutting to the Two of Pentacles. The Two of Cups and the Two of Pentacles. And the Two of Pentacles in this deck, this is a workout. This is a balance that we've had to work to achieve. And it's one that requires effort to maintain it in the beginning. But as we go along, it gets even easier with that Queen of Swords. It's like it becomes our new pattern. This is about reestablishing healthy patterns. Two of Pentacles, Two of Cups. And then here's the Five of Cups that I thought the Three of Cups was yesterday. The Four of Cups was. But I was like, wait. Ooh. Gosh, well. Those just wanted to come right out. 3 cards and 3 cards. I'm going to read these, but I'll put them back. Oh, well. So we got the 8 of Cups, the 5 of Wands, and the 3 of Wands. We saw the 8 of Cups yesterday. And I was like, the 8 of Cups, it's offering the light cups to the full moon and the dark cups to the crescent moon. And with the 5 of Wands, I feel like it is this energy of, like I said about the Queen of Swords and whatever I was just talking about, because that's where my brain is today. It's about putting things into context, more or less. And so we're sorting these things out within ourselves so that it clears the way. And these are old things. Whenever I see dragonflies, I think ancient energy. So this is an ancient conflict in this deck. And it's almost like these battles that were fought before we were even born, but were raised in the world that is a result of that. And so what's programmed into us and what's taught, the way of being that we're taught, is built upon things that happened in the past. And then we end up perpetrating these past energies, sometimes unwittingly and unknowingly. But we keep the bad times rolling when we want to get the good times going. And after we sort this out, it puts us in a position to... It gives us this higher perspective with this giraffe. And it's a perspective that allows us to see the top of the rainbow. And I talked yesterday about how important the keystone is, right? Somewhere. And so it's like there's this keystone to this rainbow that keeps the arch of the rainbow there. Like if the keystone is absent, then the rainbow fades. And it's like this energy of we would always get close to the end of the rainbow but never know why it would disappear right before we could lay eyes on the pot of gold. And it's because there was something up here that was missing. Something that we can't see when we're too wrapped up in all of this stuff down here. That's why we need to walk away from it. Or, I don't want to say compartmentalize, because that makes it seem like we're not addressing it. But put it into perspective. And then there's that 6 of Wands, again, at the bottom of the deck. It came out yesterday. Like, whatever we're faced with right now, it's not insurmountable. There is victory to be had in this situation, but we got to find it. We got to be open to finding it. And then here comes the Strength card at the cut with Death. That's transforming into our true selves. Oh, and that's interesting because there's no lady in the Strength card. It's only the lion wearing his crown because he doesn't need the lady anymore. And I talked about that because we saw the back of the Strength card. It was the back of Strength, the back of the Devil, and the back of some other cards. And I was like, the lady's not here anymore. Or the lady's going to sit this one out. So we have to have the strength to go through all of this on our own. It's when I was using the vice versa cards days ago. I don't even remember the title, and I do sometimes. There are layers to this thing, and I don't really have enough space. But that's fine. We'll figure it out. Am I done shuffling? Sure. Am I? I feel like I am, but I don't know if I already looked at the cards at the bottom of the deck. I guess it doesn't matter. Okay. I think it went something like this, but I'm not sure. I think it went a little something like this. Ooh, okay. So we got the Magician over here, the Warlock at the bottom of the deck again. And this is just thematic, so this deck, it doesn't mean much, because I'm not actually going to read those. It just provides context, something for me to grasp onto before I look at these. And we had the 10 of Cups at the bottom of this deck. So I'm a fan. Call me a fan of the Magician and the 10 of Cups. So let's do some arranging. Here we go. Top with top, bottom with bottom. It's not how it works. Well, I guess if you care about somebody, you can make anything work. But, you know, typically you don't wear 2 shirts and no bottoms, right? But a world without bottoms is incomplete. Sorry. Oh, gosh. All right. How are we going to do this? One second as I work through this. I'll ask Siri to flip a coin. If it's tails, we'll do the bottom. If it's heads, we'll do the top. Hey Siri, flip a coin, please.
It's heads.
Heads. So heads was the top. Tails was the bottom. Right? I hate when I do that because I always forget. I'm like, hey Siri, flip a coin. And then I forget what heads was and what tails was. But I'm pretty sure heads was the top. So we do the top layer first. So first card we have is the 6 of Wands, and that's coming out with the Strength card. So yeah, I probably should have shuffled them, but it's fine. It is what it is, and I like this though, because this actually gives us a different meaning. It gives us a different message, because the 6 of Wands in this deck is a golem, and golems are these animate creatures, but they don't have a soul. They're puppets to these magician warlock type things. And so this is that Pyrrhic Victory energy that came out on the other channel yesterday. And basically a Pyrrhic Victory, it's something, it's when the cost of winning outweighs whatever you actually won, right? It's when the price is very, very steep for something that has very little payout. And I talked about that again when I was talking about that rent to own type energy, where it's like, you know, I'm trying to win an Xbox for the cost of a medium or large drink at Taco Bell. But eventually it's going to get to the point where if I buy enough cups, I might as well have just bought the Xbox. And it's like if you're in a space where you can only rent, or if you're in a space where you don't want it to be permanent, then renting would make sense. But if you have the resources to own, then owning may make more sense than renting. But it's like without the angel or the other figure here, there's nothing to keep this lion from. And that was literally the same card. It was the I Ching message. It was bite through. And it was interesting because I was like, well, here's this. So the cards that came out, it was death and the strength card. And in the SKT, it looked like the Reaper was going towards the lion. And then there's the person holding the mouth of the lion open. And I was like, oh, okay, so this is like dental work, right? Oh, that makes sense, because sometimes my teeth get a little vibraty. It's weird. I don't know. Like if I'm meditating and it's weird. But I don't think it's necessarily uncommon. Um, and so I was like, the woman is holding the mouth of the lion open so that the reaper can come in and do whatever dental work it needs to do on this lion. But then the I Ching came out and it was like bite through, and I was like, what? The lion is gonna bite through the hands of the person holding the mouth open? Excuse me? I was like, I feel like I'm getting a conflicting message here. But then by the end of it, it was that Pyrrhic victory, where it's like, yeah, you won, but at what cost, right? This is that like better off alone energy, maybe, but at what cost, and are you really? So the top layer is going to be about hollow victory. It seems like, oof, goodness. What was? I'm gonna see if I wrote down any themes. I didn't write down any themes. Okay. So this is based off the energy of the Two of Pentacles and the Three of Wands. I don't know which layer is which because, again, I didn't build it all the way out. So I didn't get that far, okay? And this was the only one that came out with multiple layers. And there's kind of sort of a theme to all the base layers, low-key, not gonna lie. But anyway, way. And we just saw the Two of Pentacles and the Three of Wands. The Three of Wands was about gaining that higher perspective to see what destabilizes or what keeps the rainbow bridge from being stable, the keystone in the arch of the rainbow. And then the Two of Pentacles, was it healthy boundaries? I already forgot what it was. Because it came out with the Two of Cups. It was because first the Two of Cups was at the bottom of the deck. And then when I cut it, it was the Two of Pentacles. And then it was the Two of Pentacles with the Queen of Swords. And then before we started, the Eight of Cups, the walking away, no. Eight of Cups, girl, why is my memory like this today? It was the Eight of Cups and the Three of Wands with something in between them. What was in between them? It doesn't matter, because it was about walking away and putting stuff down. And that Five of Wands, it was the Five of Wands, the Eight of Cups and the Five of Wands, which was about basically sorting through the ego to the point where we're not fighting pointless, senseless fights. Because here's that Pyrrhic victory. This is what I've been talking about, where we have nothing to gain and the other side has nothing to lose. So, like, no matter what we do, we lose the game. And no matter how it turns out, they win. So the only way to win in that situation is to not play, right? But this, because it's this soulless Pyrrhic victory, where again it costs us more to win than what it's actually worth. So I like that. This is going to be, I don't know, I don't have to get all the way into it, but we're coming over here now, and, well, here's the death card. Hola Transformación. Also, my ex-roomie's birthday is tomorrow, and I know he don't watch me on this channel because I never gave him this channel, but Feliz Cumpleaños to him. And I love this energy. We have the Imp, and we have the Death card. This is the Hangman in Death. We are freeing ourselves from the states of, oh, I wanted to say imprisonment, but it's more inaction than imprisonment, right? No? Imprisonment? Okay. We're freeing ourselves from these states of imprisonment. Well, I guess if you're imprisoned, then you can't really do anything. So it implies a sort of inaction at the very least. But it's being transformed. Because whatever this is, it prevents us from listening to our actual intuition. Because the ego has too big of a role. The ego is too loud. this lion is wearing a crown. This lion ditched the angel for a crown. I won, I'm the champion. And Divine is like, okay, well, here's what you win. More of the garbage that you already have. When we try to give you that way out. But we're transforming. Ten of Swords has been coming out a lot lately. That ego transformation. Also, this is the Scorpio card, Sun and Scorpio. We are officially in Scorpio season right now. So Sun and Scorpio being the first two cards out, I'm not mad at it. And then we come over here to the Seven of Swords. And for the Seven of Swords, we get the Two of Wands. And I love that. Because the Seven of Swords I also saw. This is going to be a whole bunch of... This is what I've been seeing lately. But last time the Seven of Swords came out, it was here. It was with these cards. And it was about... It came out in the Manticore spread yesterday. And it was about returning the things that don't belong to us. Because it frees us up to move forward unburdened. This is a brand new journey. Right? He's got his periscope, his eyeglass. He's got his eyeglass, his little map, his surveying equipment. Every time I see the Two of Wands in this deck, it feels like cartographer energy venturing into a brand new space. And with this Death card and with Strength, it's almost like we're leaving so much of what we know, but it's like if what we know isn't great, then is it bad to leave it behind? If what we don't know is how light the world can be, then is entering the unknown a bad thing? Is it scary? I don't think so. Because everything, not everything, but a lot of things on this side aren't that great. But sometimes the familiarity is better to us than the discomfort of going into a space and being open and vulnerable. But through the space of this transformation, we're reclaiming that which was taken from us because of all of those old programs that don't serve anybody, honestly. Even the people who it does serve, or even the people who think that it serves, like they think that they get served, like they actually, like you don't. It doesn't actually serve anybody. And if you're like, well, how can that be the case? And it's like, well, it's telling you that you are entitled to or deserving or somehow are going to get something that is not guaranteed to you in life. And I can't understand what that frustration is like because that's not the narrative. That's not the side of the narrative that I was born into. So I can't imagine the frustration when you find out that, what? Like, I'm not just I don't just get everything that I want. Excuse me, and the entitlement that people have and the stuff that they do when they feel whatever. I'm like, girl, y'all, I mean, it really is like, it's 2020, so it ain't necessarily the case, but it kind of sort of is the case that you literally like are born into this world sometimes with your path already laid out for you, and if your path isn't laid out for you, you're born with these obstacles that are just there. And it's time to return all of that. Because that's not ours. That's that Five of Wands. That ancient conflict. Those systems that are based off of things that happened and existed before we even came into the world. But it's not even like good systems. Like if it were good systems, that's one thing. But it's like the bad. It's like the worst. Why is it that like the worst of the things are the things that we typically try to hold on to? Well, I guess depending on your position, the worst for one person is the best for another, because that's the world we live in where everything is competitive. But maybe we're going to move into compassion and cooperation. Aquarius, let's go. Sorry. Not really. All right, let's get into this one. So next is the Seven of Cups, another seven. For the Seven of Cups comes out the Eight of Cups. And I was just talking about this Eight of Cups, which was walking away. So with the Seven of Cups, or with the Eight of Cups now, it's being presented this energy as we are moving forward, as we are walking away. There are these like last minute little tempty type of like, are you sure I can't? It's like whenever you call to cancel your service somewhere and like, oh, you know, like, and the person on the phone doesn't even really care. It's just their job to do whatever. And I was like, oh, well, you know, maybe we could do this instead of canceling your service. Maybe we can do that, and we'll give you like this promotion and we'll give you this deal and that deal if you stay with us. And it's like, no, like I'm not satisfied with my service. Like I can get better service if I go somewhere else. And it's like, oh, that's unfortunate, but you know, we can give you this discount and that discount and we'll upgrade you to this package for free. And it's like, are you not like, I don't want any of the service. I'm not calling you saying I want more service. I'm not calling you saying I want a discount. I'm calling you saying that I want to cancel. But that's this energy with the Seven of Cups lying behind it. After we have the Seven of Swords, it's like, oh, well, can I interest you in this? Can I interest you in that? This is something, honestly, to be careful of moving forward. And it's not to say that, you know, we're supposed to stay outraged, because we also have to be open to allowing change to occur. But it's not to be so easily baited into being breadcrumbed. This is being breadcrumbed. And like this is like we're going into something completely brand new. But again, before we make our way outside, it's like there are going to be all these stalls that pop up like, can you get this? Like, interested in this, interested in that. Free, free, free. Buy one, get one free. Buy one free, get one free. I mean, get one free, get one free. One time I went to Myers, they had Doritos, buy two, get three free. I said, what? They giving away 3 free bags of Doritos for buying 2? And then I had more Doritos than I wanted. I was burnt out on Doritos for a little bit after that, high key. Not gonna lie. But this is the energy of temptation as we walk away. And it reminds me of that envy card that came out yesterday. But it's like, you know, we're on the brink of the darkness, about to step forward into the light. But one of the obstacles may be that there isn't a page energy here, but I'm feeling one. I feel like we don't want to be seen as a page. Maybe it'll come back in the base. Maybe like right here we'll get a page. Maybe not. But it's like we don't want to be seen as a page, so we'd rather stay in the dark where we know what's up. Or like we're not yet open or vulnerable enough to ask for help when we need it. We don't want to be perceived as weak. And so we ditch the angel and we don the crown. But everything is like this stuff, it's trying to transform this so we can actually move beyond. What's on this side? Oh. On this side, we have the 8 of Wands and the 5 of Wands. There it is again. So the fact that these didn't come out at the top of the deck, I think means that I did shuffle it. Right. Wait. Yeah, because strength was at the bottom of the deck. Hold up, hold up, hold up, hold up, hold up, hold up. How do I do this? I did this reversed. I laid down the top on the bottom and the bottom on the top. Okay. All right, all right. So these are all the more subconscious influences. Got you. Well, here's that 5 of Wands again, paired with the 8 of Wands now. So if at this 7 of Cups, we don't, if we accept with the 7 of Cups, if we choose not to walk away, because here's this 8 of Wands, we choose the easier path, the path of least resistance sometimes is the path that leads to the space that we literally just came out of, or the space that we're trying to come out of. But it's like we're recasting the role. It's like, I don't like this character, so I'm gonna recast that role. I still don't like this character, so I'm gonna recast the role. It doesn't matter who plays the character. If your issue is with the character and not the actor, then you can recast all day long, but you're going to end up with the same 5 of Wands conflict. The one that we're kind of sort of trying to break right now. Low key. I mean, we all have our own choices, so, you know, feel free to do whatever you want. And then here's the 9 of Pentacles, Frankenstein, coming out with that 3 of Wands. Girl, see, I knew I ain't shuffled this mess, but it was like, just go with it. Just go with it. But I did like literally just feel these energies, so, you know, I shouldn't be too surprised that it's on the table. The 9 of Wands and the 3 of Pentacles being at the bottom. And again, it's this is the root. This is what things grow from. It reminds me of the story of the person who like stuck a nail in the tree to see how the tree grew or something like that. But I guess trees grow from the top, or they expand from the top because it starts at the root. And so this level will always be this level, but what's above it will get even. I don't know, girl. Don't ask me. Whenever I heard that story, people was like, "Ha ha ha, that person's so dumb," and I'm like, "Hold up, wait, like I gotta actually think about this." But the branches grow out, but the trunk stays the same, right? So when a tree gets taller, it's like the branches get higher, or it gets more branches, but the trunk is the same. But this is the root. This is the space from which everything grows and everything flows. This is a very superficial, like, here's the crown. Like, oh, look at me, look at me. But this strength is according to the standards of this. And whenever you play this game, you lose. It's like the game, right? Whenever you think about the game, you lose. Or if you think about the game, you lose the game, or something like that. And so it brings back that white bear energy, um, of trying not to think a thought makes you think that thought, or whatever when you consciously try not to think something, you end up you think it more. Or if you're told not to think something, then it makes you think that. And so there is a little bit of reverse psychology also here with this. And I think that's why it's like we think we're winning the game, but we're not, because if we're playing, we're losing. And if we had the perspective to see that at the top of the rainbow that this energy gives us, there's nothing to hold it stable. It's an illusion to keep you chasing after the pot of gold, but you're never going to get it. Also, with this long neck and with the no neck here, it's really about coming out of the ego. Now, this is that periscope energy where we pop up over the surface of the water from the submarine and we can see what's going on, right? Let's see what's lying under this, shall we? Here's the Ten of Swords talking about the ego. There's the card of ego death. Did I mention ego death when I was talking about the death card? Maybe. Ten of Swords with the Ten of Wands. We saw that yesterday too. First card in the Manticore spread. In some ways, the Five of Wands now is where the Ten of Wands was. There's this heavy root sacral energy right through the heart of this that branches off in this way. Or is this just root? Because this looks a little more orangey yellow to me. I don't know. Here's this Ten of Wands. So we have a creature that has a longer neck than the lion, but a shorter neck than the giraffe. This is the space of transition, where we're balancing both sides. We got 5 wands on this side and 5 wands on that side. But on that side / this side, like, this is the side of movement. 8 of Cups is a card of movement. Walking away from the 8 Cups into what is unknown. This Two of Wands is also a card of movement. In a lot of decks, the Two of Wands has an energy of movement, but it's not necessarily always depicted as moving. Over here is stagnation and death. Here we got running the same hamster wheels, and then it's like the flesh rots off of your bones before you ever get that pot of gold. Because again, this energy over here, this old Hierophant energy, you're not supposed to get the pot of gold. Nobody really gets the pot of gold. It's like they keep going and they keep going and they keep going, and it's like, at what point do we like actually enjoy our lives? What point do we actually come into the more human nature of human nature? And there have always been or there have been people throughout history, and it's because I saw something the other day, and when everything is on the internet, it is what it is, or but it is actually what it is, right? Because there were non-minority classed people along the Underground Railroad who knew that slavery was wrong. And I feel like from a modern perspective, sometimes we're like, oh, well, it was a product of the times. Like back in that day, it was okay. Back in those days, everyone was doing it. But even back in those days, there were still people who knew that it was wrong. And back in those days is no excuse. That's like not a valid excuse or a valid reason for us to continue to do something that we know doesn't serve us. But eventually, we're going to get to the point where our growth is restricted by the system. It's not a system that was created with growth in mind. And like, how many times has it been the case where it's like, oh, we need to update the Constitution, we need to do these, we need to add these laws and those laws, because when it was written, there was no accounting for the digital age now. Right? And that's why now you start getting like cyberbullying laws, where if you cyberly do things, or the what was it, the laws, what was that website where people would share other people's nudes without their permission, and then it got taken down and now it's like illegal, right? It's that kind of sort of energy. It's not robust or dynamic. It can't account for what's to happen, and when that happens, we have to revisit things, right? Or else we go the way of Blockbuster, where we don't even, like, Blockbuster's been out of the game for how long? Family Video in my hometown, the last one that we had, is finally closing down. Not finally, like as a finally it's happening, but like, I don't know, it's like Family Video has been finding a way at some point at least to stay relevant amidst the age of Netflix and stuff like that. But as more and more and more and more, and especially now, with a lot of things moving to digital or streaming, it's becoming kind of obsolete. And then I saw something else that was like, Barnes and Nobles are going to start serving alcohol and doing dinner and things like that. And there were some people who were like, oh, haha, like they're trying to stay relevant or whatever. But then there's the very real truth of like, okay, well, if Blockbuster would have pivoted, maybe they would have been able to at least keep themselves afloat in some way. Maybe they would have been able to stay relevant. Sometimes in life, it's like we find ourselves the king in a certain area, but we have to pivot. We have to evolve and change as things evolve and change. And depending on what your work is and how quickly the edge of that is expanding, speaking of a nail in a tree, depending on how fast the event horizon, is that even the word? I don't know. The edge of whatever that is, it's expanding, you can find yourself obsolete real quick. Because it's like you're trying to keep fighting this fight down here where everything is pushing you to evolve, but everyone else is walking away and moving forward into their next unknown chapter. And then here's this Ten of Wands here where it's like we can't keep up, but it's because we need to let this go. So I guess the lower energies supporting this restriction, the High Priestess and the Knight of Wands. Why the High Priestess? Ooh, High Priestess came out with the Three of Swords. Knight of Wands came out with the Page of Wands. Well, here's a Page energy. Why was I feeling a Page energy? I thought it was Page energy because it was brand new. This is interesting because down here it's like with the High Priestess and the Knight of Wands, I feel like this energy would be encouraging you to move forward, but there's no security here. Oh, there's Gemini. Gemini came out the other day. Oh gosh, I don't know why I just got a head rush. Okay, let's calm down. I'm just gonna sit here and not move for a second. Oh, I hate when that happens, like random head rush. I'm just like, whoo, okay, let me not move too much because I might pass out. But again, it's like the world is shifting and changing in a certain way. And if we continue to fight it, we end up in a world of decay. We end up on the Two of Pentacles. We end up on that Pentacle and the Two of Pentacles that rots, while the other one comes in and it rises. The sun is setting on one world and rising on another. But right now it's in both skies. But it's on the horizon. Speaking of expanding horizons, it's on the horizon, and we just woke up and there are no clocks. And so we don't know if it's a sunrise or a sunset sometimes. And I think that's what's kind of sort of, but it feels like everything, it's pushing you into the unknown, but there's some attachment here that's preventing us from doing it. And this is interesting because in the Seeker card, in the SKT, there are 2 rosebuds and 1 that has bloomed. In this 3 of Swords, there are 2 water spouts coming out of 2 of these swords. But in 1 sword, it's like it didn't strike gold. So maybe the well is drying up. And it's time for us to bring a fresh energy or a fresh perspective to what it is that we're doing. It's time for us to move in a more conscientious way. I mean, it's Jiminy Cricket, so, and the Page of Wands. So this isn't about that King of Wands, I get what I want type energy. It's about, okay, like, how do I go about getting what I want in a way that is conscientious, in a way that is, what's the word? Not conservable. But yeah, is it conservable? Where we don't use all of it up. And there's like, we're not using it faster than it's produced. But I mean, using something faster than it's produced drives capitalism and consumerism. It's that limited number. Now in limited supply. Come today, or else you lose out forever. And now FOMO is a thing. I didn't even know what FOMO was until like 3 summers ago, summer 2017. When somebody was like, yeah, he's got like a real case of FOMO. I was like, FOMO? What is that? Like fake homo or something? And then like, it's the fear of missing out. I was like, oh. And then Fire Festival, y'all remember that disaster and how FOMO had people like quitting their jobs, some people using money that they didn't even have to be a part of Fire Festival and get some kind of exposure because all the models and celebrities and stuff were going, and then it didn't even happen and they were stranded on that island. This is the evolution of that energy. That's the evolution of competition. And like, when we're competing over renewable resources, or when we're using renewable resources in a way that, in a more conservative way, I guess that's the word I want, then it's like it doesn't have as much demand. And with no demand, you can't really charge that much. And so sometimes we manufacture demand. And that's when we get into real, like, some, depending on what it is, we can get into some real questionable sort of territory, creating these needs that don't actually exist. And then that's not even to say the things about exclusivity, right? There was this one commercial I saw for some like yoga pants or something, and this girl, she brought up a pair of basic black yoga pants to the counter, and that person was like, it's like X amount of money. And she's like, this much for this pair of basic black yoga pants? She's like, yeah. And then she was like, oh, the price just went up. And she was like, what? And she's like, it just got more exclusive. But like, that's what it is in real life. Right? Oh, it's worth more. It's more expensive. That means I'm worth more. I'm better than you because I can afford this and you can't. And it's like, but at the end of the day, 9 times out of 10, a lot of the stuff is empty. It's worthless. If it had any weight, we wouldn't constantly be chasing the newest thing coming out. It's not sustainable. That's what it is. Sustainable, not conservative. Sustainable. It's about going about things in a way that's sustainable. There we go. Thank you. Goodness, it took a minute. This is that zero-sum game where even when you win, you lose. And when you lose, the system wins. So they win-win, regardless of if you win or lose. But it's time to break all that, and it's time to go beyond. but it feels like there's a little bit of difficulty. This is why the page is here, because the lion didn't want to feel like a page. And so we go from like the Knight of Wands to the Page of Wands. So like for the people who aren't even sitting at the top, for the people who aren't even kings, they're still knights themselves, but they're a little closer to being a king than somebody else. And like, oh no, no, like we're not going to change the system because then I'll be at square one. I'll be at square one with all those other pages. It's like I may not be a king, but I'm a knight, and a knight is a lot closer. And it's like, okay, girl, well, you can be a knight all day long, but you ain't ever gonna be a king. But you know, that's what this system thrives on, girl. And it's time to leave all this mess in the past. I didn't think that this is gonna be what it was today, but hey, it is what it is. It is the salamander spread, right? The salamander, if you cut off its tail, it grows back. Kind of like a starfish or a worm. There's this energy of regeneration. Hey, look, and here's the death card right here. So next is the King of Cups. Well, here's a king with the Four of Swords. Yes! So maybe... So these are the lower influences. And these are the higher ones. But there's a mix here. Because the High Priestess is right here. So I feel like low-key we know. We just aren't... It's like we know what we should be doing, but we feel like we're going to be missing out if we do it with this Three of Swords. But the Four of Swords is coming out with this King of Cups. Like, this energy, it's offering us actual peace. And through peace, like prosperity. Where we can cultivate prosperity and abundance instead of continuously seeking it. Because that's a game that if we're continuously seeking something, then in some ways we are telling the universe, spirit, that we don't have it. Because if we had it, we wouldn't have to seek after it, right? We just have it. For the things that you know you have in your refrigerator, you don't have to go to the grocery store to buy more. And every time you go to the grocery store, it's like, man, why don't they have this? Why don't they have this? Why don't they have this? And then it's like, well, you have plenty at home. Why don't you just use what you have? Why are you so afraid? And whose fear is this? That's the question here. Whose fear is this? Whose scarcity is this? Whose lack is this? Because it's not yours. But the angel would tell you that if you deflate a little bit, that ego. And then over here, we have the Hierophant. Here he is. Here he is. His energy was all over this. We basically started with this. All over this Hierophant energy. And this was what, the final card out the other day when I had this deck? Because I remember saying that I'm ignorant AF when it comes to voodoo. But I understand that everything that I know, like everything that I know about voodoo, is told from a very, very, very particular and specific angle and viewpoint. Because there's an agenda. Not to... Oh, and another king? The King of Swords? What? This is us having authority over our own minds instead of handing it over to this Hierophant. This is what the Hierophant doesn't want us to come into the space of being, because when we're in this, we're not in this. We're not buying, and lack and scarcity and fear. It's like we can come into this Zen moment. Literally just watched Rustling Around. He's honestly one of my new faves. Oh, I've only been watching him for a few months now. But he was just talking about, he did the Blue Moon Taurus reading. It's amazing. I'd go and check it out. If I were you, I guess. I don't know. I feel like it was some confirmation for some stuff, but it's fine. He talks about the kings as a Zen. And here's the Four of Swords Zen. Here's the king of the mind, the king of the mental, with this Zen energy. Here's the 4, here's the 3. On a physical level, it may feel like we're starting over, but on an energetic level, it's a step up. Because again, when the mind is at peace, when the mind is at ease, things come more effortlessly. And the Ten of Cups is at the bottom of the deck, with the Ten of Wands being the heart of this. But that, to me, it's reading as that peace. As the only thing that can put out 10 wands is 10 cups. Wands and cups make air. After we get over this initial shock, if we're open to really learning and discovering who we are outside of that Hierophant energy and outside of this conflict that it keeps us in, everything else is like transform that, move forward, walk away. But again, when this Eight of Cups came out, I was like, well, that the energy of the Five of Wands is all over that. But, just wait a second. But wait, there's more. But wait, there's more. But wait, there's more. And it's like, eventually, you know, if there's enough more, maybe we buy back into it. And it's like, ooh, you almost got out. This is that inn that welcomes weary travelers, the hot tub that soothes all of one's worries away, a sly grin. It keeps you stuck in a space that you're not supposed to, like, this is not a destination. When I was talking about the knights yesterday, the Knight of Pentacles is the only one that finishes the race. The Knight of Swords, Cups, and Wands will treat a checkpoint like a finish line because they get tired. I want to have fun. Oh, it's too complicated. Like this doesn't feel good. Like this doesn't fit the fantasy that I had about how this was supposed to go. So instead of continuing in this unknown space, I'm just gonna go back to the garbage that I just left, because at least I know that garbage is garbage. This new stuff could be garbage. I don't know. I'd rather eat the trash that is trash. It's like, okay, well, you know, it's your life. You make your own choices and decisions. You do what you want. But here's this peace that rises from the cups that put out the fire. And then here's the Seven of Swords that return to sender energy with the victory again. Six of Wands again behind all of this. With the Six of Cups behind that Six of Wands. Like, but here's this zen, here's this peace, here's this ownership and rulership of our own minds, so that we're not so primed. And you know, like I said the other day, if I see a good advertisement, girl, sometimes I'll be the first one in the grocery store or in the line at Taco Bell. Honestly, you know, I gotta be honest, because sometimes the food is good though. And it's like it's this interesting energy, because it's like when you do have a service, how are people supposed to find you if they don't know? Right? It's like you don't have to be crooked or corrupt to be in advertising and marketing to get yourself out there and to be seen. But again, there's a certain conscientiousness here and a certain sustainability here. It's like, is the energy that I'm putting out to get this an energy that also supports the keeping of this? Or is the way that you're going about getting something going to get it taken immediately? It's like, yeah, I lied on my resume, but, you know, nobody knows. And then, I don't know, eventually one of the references gets back and they're like, oh, yeah, so turns out you lied to us and you're fired. But hey, maybe you were there long enough to get a paycheck. Maybe that's success for you. It's like, okay, I'm cool, I'm good, I'm fired, whatever. I got my paycheck, I got my money. I'll go out and I'll do it again somewhere else. But this person is connected in this industry. And I guess you've done this enough times that word has started to travel. And now you can't continue to do the same things that you were doing before expecting success. Because somebody caught on. But it's for your own good. You want better for yourself? No, I just want to go through life with no effort and all of the things that I want. Been there, done that. Probably, if I could, would go back. If I'm being completely honest, girl, if I didn't have to keep working, sometimes I ask myself if I would keep working. Sometimes I do low-key. And I'd be like, Spirit, y'all making me do this for a reason, aren't y'all? And it's like, yep, because you got to get to the point where you're comfortable with the work, where you would continue to do what it is that you need to do, and you wouldn't just stop. It reminds me of this one dude who, at the end of one summer, he was looking to get hired on at one of the halls on campus. And he was like, oh, yeah, I worked at this one hall before. And I was like, oh, well, why did you stop? He was like, well, I made all the money that I wanted to make, and then I quit. But I'm like, but if you're gonna spend that money, girl, then you're gonna need more money. Hello. And then he went looking for another job. But hey, I get it. I understand. Kinda. I mean, I'm in this space of unemployment, not necessarily because I want to be right now. It has been a little bit longer than I'm used to, honestly. This is the longest I've gone without working in my life, besides when I first started working. Ace of Pentacles, Five of Wands, and the Knight of Cups. The Mandragora, the Chimera, and the Djinn are at the bottom of the deck. And with that Djinn, it's like, be careful what you wish for, because you just might get a type of energy. But with this Ace of Pentacles, if you've done the work, you don't have to be careful. Right? Like, if you use dirty money to go, and that was that Page of Wands, that conscientiousness, what I was literally just saying, if you go about getting something in a way that's going to cause you to immediately lose it, then you're going to lose it. But if you go about getting something in legitimate ways, if you've done the work to raise your neck, to periscope your neck to the point where you can see the keystone of that rainbow and you know that it's stable, then you don't have to fear another case of a vanishing pot of gold. It will be there because you've done the work to make it so. I remember, like, I saw a reading lately and I was like, it was just the title. I didn't even watch it. And I was like, ooh, this title is lit. And I told one of my friends and they were like, well, I hope it comes true. And I was like, well, I know it's coming true for me because this is what I've been doing the work for. But, you know, that day I got a whole bunch of lit messages and I was like, yes, this is why I continue to do the work. Even when I don't see anything, I continue to do the work. Because thankfully I'm sensitive and practiced enough. Disciplined. I like the word disciplined because it's something that I had to develop. I'm sensitive and disciplined enough to continue even when I don't see anything. And that's why I try to encourage other people to do the same. So here's the Four of Cups, Strength, and the Two of Pentacles. Four of Cups is the Ghoul, Strength is the Manticore, Two of Pentacles is the Elf. And this is a forest elf, not a Christmas elf. Okay. Goodness. Ow, that hurt. We did the Manticore spread yesterday, didn't we? That was the fulfillment of a contract. The Four of Cups came out with the Ten of Wands before. But this Four of Cups energy, it feels more like a Four of Pentacles energy. Honestly, this Four of Cups, it's the Ghoul. Ghoul is basically something that's like undead, right? It's reanimated, but it's not a zombie. I don't know where the distinction lies. It feels like the Seven of Cups energy. But it feels like it's dressed up in a way where it looks like an actual opportunity, but it might not be. And again, we've had the opportunity to do a lot of work and a lot of growth this year. The blessings that come in will probably necessitate some of the work that you've done, at least some of the work that you've done. And so if this is something that you can accept and not have to continue to work those muscles or flex those muscles that you've been building, if it comes too easy, then it may not be it. Because we've acquired this strength for a reason. And this strength is going to give us the foresight to see beyond the presentation of this thing. Because elves have, in the Silmarillion, I guess, I don't know. I read on the internet that in the Lord of the Rings universe, the world is curved for everyone but elves. Because that strength in that Five of Wands, humanity effed it up for everybody. So now the dwarves lived on the curved world. I think it was the humans. It could have been anybody. I'm pretty sure it was the humans, though. The humans lived on the curved world. Everybody lives on this curved world. because humanity effed it up for everybody except the elves. So basically, I believe, and this is how it's coming to me. So if it's wrong, it's how it's coming to me to build the image that I need to see in this moment. Humanity went into this conquering type of energy where they started to conquer everything. And the land of the elves was last. But the land of the elves sat at the end of the world. And so what the architect of that world did was it curved the world for everyone else except the elves, so they can always get home. But no one else can go to that domain, because for everyone else, before they hit the end of the world, they curve back around to the other side. And so that's why in the Lord of the Rings, the elves can see so far, because they see the world without the curvature. But everyone else, they're subjected to this. And so already, here is this separation between these two worlds, between these two pinnacles. One pinnacle straight, one pinnacle curved. But it was done for protection. Now, I don't know why the elves were so favored and everybody else was, the dwarves weren't. Maybe the dwarves was like, well, they live underground, first of all, so hey, I don't know if you can, I guess you could separate the underground from the ground. I don't know. But that's kind of sort of this energy. With the elf two of pentacles, it's about seeing beyond just the appearance of that pinnacle. Because again, there was the pinnacle of decay and the pinnacle of growth. One, the sun is rising, the other, the sun is setting. And we've been in this transitional darkness right now. But I feel like some of it, depending on how you align yourself and what you accept and what you go after in your own world, it may be more unideal or more ideal. Because the Ace of Pentacles is here. But with the there's that Five of Wands again. If we play that Five of Wands game, that's the Djinn. This is the Djinn. So in the space of the Five of Wands, this Djinn is offering you this cup and the Four of Cups that you're asking for, that you're waiting for, that you're meditating for. But this Four of Cups energy feels more like the Seven to me. And I think you're supposed to have the strength to exit the tunnel instead of turning back and going the way that you just came. Because again, the Knight of Cups isn't one of the knights that finishes the race. Sometimes it really does just take dedication. Sometimes it be like that, And when it's like that, we need to recognize that it's like that so that we don't get caught up. Oh, look, there's the Knight of Wands, another knight that doesn't cross the finish line. Ooh, with the Nine of Cups, the Page of Swords, and the Knight of Swords. Okay. Where's the Knight of Pentacles? I feel like I haven't seen, I feel like earlier in the year, the Knight of Pentacles was coming out so much more often. But now Knight of Pentacles is like, I'm in here doing my own work. What you looking for me for? And I went looking for him in this deck the other time, didn't I? Him or her, them. I went looking for them. We ain't got to gender everything. Not everything needs to be gendered. What does the Knight of Pentacles even look like? It was a... What animal was it? Does anyone remember? Does anyone remember? I'll recognize him when I see him, right? There's that Two of Pennies. That was a Page of Pennies. It took me a long time to find him last time. Knight of Pentacles is like, I'm minding my business on my grind. What are you doing? What are you doing? I'm like, wow, there's the Knight of Cups. So yeah, here's the Knight of Pentacles. Again, the last knight to make an appearance. Had to go through all the other ones. So we have the Queen of Pentacles and the Three of Pentacles. I think Death was behind the Knight of Pentacles last time. So collaboration, there you go. Collaboration that leads to stability. And it's a stability in the self, right? Just because you collaborate with somebody else, just because you work with somebody else, just because you aren't entirely doing everything on your own, doesn't mean that you're not successful or worse than anyone else. Because, we're kind of like co-creators and creators. Like, we have to have something to work with. You know what I mean? we ain't necessarily like magicians creating something out of nothing. And if you are creating something out of nothing, there's still something that predates that nothing. Right? I don't care if you converting antimatter or dark matter into actual matter, where you are coercing those molecules to exit one dimension and to come into being in this dimension. It still exists somewhere. Energetically, mentally, emotionally. It's preceded by something, right? Because it ain't like, you know, we just like, boom. I don't know. What do I know? Flashing lights, Kanye West. I guess, yeah. I said that. Because I just remember there's that one part, what do I know? Final message from the affirmators, please. I'm hungry. I feel like I've been eating less the past few days. I feel like I eat a little bit and then I'll be good for hours. Then I'll get hungry and then it'll pass before I get food. But I got some black beans I want to make. I've been really into black beans and rice lately. Okay, come on now, please. Can I get a card, please? More shuffles. Shuffle up, I guess, right? Da 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 da. There we go. Something flipped over in here. Bottom of the deck is the Six of Pentacles. Equal give and take. You get what you give, and you give what you get, and you get what you give. Oh, I didn't even see this card come out. I literally, I got OBS and YouTube up right now, and I just saw YouTube is like a few seconds behind. So I looked at my computer and then I saw the card fall out. I was like, what? I didn't even see that when it came out on the table. Work. There's a card in here that's face down somewhere, I believe. Or maybe that's the card that came out and I thought it was face down. But yeah, bottom of the deck is the Six of Pentacles. I don't know what this creature is. Looks like it might be an armadillo. Yeah, I think this is an armadillo. It's a blue armadillo. Is blue armadillo a thing? I think blue armadillo might be a thing. Man, let's see. Let's ask. Hey Siri, what is blue armadillo?
Okay, I found this on the web for what is a blue armadillo. Check it out.
The blue armadillo, Talia, Texas. Oh, well, it went away. I guess it's not a thing. What's under this? I'm curious. Oh, the Six of Swords with the Six of Pentacles. And the Eight of Wands. And the Eight of Wands. Okay, but we done now. Here's the Moon card. When you enter the unknown, it leads you swiftly into this space of reciprocity, where the energy that you give is the energy that you get. Because again, you're not putting coins into someone else's system where they arbitrarily determine the price. Like, what's inflation about? I mean, I know what it's about. I have an idea of what it's about. I'm not going to say I know what it's about. But it's something that's more stationary, where milk is always $1.50 or 25 cents a gallon or however much it was, right? Eight of Wands, Six of Swords, Six of Pentacles. Love that energy. What's this? The King of Cups. Hey. We had the Page of Cups. That was our escape yesterday. It was a page yesterday and it's a king today. It's a king today because it's gosh darn went through the darkness. It was like, you know what? I don't know what's on the other side, but I know what's on this side, and this ain't where it's at. So if I gotta work hard to get to the other side, to come out on the other side of this transition, girl, I'll do it. I'll do it. I'll do it 2, 3, 4, 5 times if I got to, because this ain't it. This ain't where it's at. King of Cups. I love that energy. That is that sort of conscientiousness. Well, that's the heart space behind it. The wands is about sort of moving in that way, or like going about doing things in that way, but you have to have the knowing, and it comes from water. From water it goes to swords and fire, and then eventually the earth. And trident is one of the sons of Poseidon, I believe. Triton. I think Triton is one of the sons of Poseidon, and he might have been killed by Hercules over the course of his 12 labors, but I don't know. We'll just look up Triton real quick. I'll just ask Scary. Well, no, I won't. I'll look it up because I want the Wikipedia. The Wikipedia. I was going to come on today. What was I going to say? I was going to say, I don't know why I wanted to say this, but I was just going to come on and say, oh, how the turns have tabled. Wiki. I remember in like middle school, there was this random period where everybody was just like, for no reason. For no reason. And they'd just be on the bus, and then everybody else would start doing it. And then in elementary school, everybody had an itsy bitsy teeny weeny yellow polka dot bikini. Somebody would just say somebody on the bus's name, and then everybody would be like, blah 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 had an itsy bitsy teeny weeny yellow polka dot bikini. And then, girl, I was in literally 5th grade, because there was this one girl there, and she was in kindergarten when I was in the 5th grade, and she passed, and it's tragic. And one time I saw her sister, and I accidentally called her by her deceased sister's name, and I felt very bad and awkward, because now that's my association with her. And you know, the vernacular for a kitty cat that is also associated with the genitalia of, you know, we would just scream that on the bus, because there was this viaduct, and when we went under the tunnel, as soon as we hit the dark, everybody would scream it on the bus. And of course the bus driver was like, what are y'all doing? And I didn't know what it meant. And so one day, this little kindergartner, I think she asked somebody on the bus what it meant, and they were like, it's the thing between girls' legs. I was like, oh my gosh. You know, the bus driver shut that one down fairly quickly. I don't know why stuff like that happens. It's like we just do stuff. Somebody does something, and then everyone else starts to do it. Triton, that was his name, right? Mythology. Triton, son of Neptune, maybe? Triton in Greek mythology, a merman, demigod of the sea. He was the son of the sea god Poseidon and his wife Amphitrite. According to the Greek poet Hesiod, Triton dwelt with his parents in a golden palace in the depths of the sea. Atlantis is rising, Henny. Yes, with the Age of Aquarius. Maybe, I don't know. That's what I got. That's what I got from that. Ooh, ow, that hurt. All right, so I'll catch y'all later. I hope you have a good whatever whenever you see this, and I hope you're acting in alignment to make it even better, because you know it's possible, but we gotta kind of sort of gotta do some lifting, right? Some assembly required. Maybe that's what I'll title this, because I'm so bad with titles and thumbnails. Some assembly required. All right, I'll catch y'all later. Have a good one. Bye. 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 Bye.